Hey everybody, sorry that we're running about an hour late at this point. I had a very busy day, lots of stuff to put together. It was pretty brutal, but we're gonna get going here. We're going to we're going to address an important topic tonight, which is harassment in online gaming. It's something that doesn't really get talked about a whole lot, and I think that's a serious problem. Um, some of you may feel like it is maybe not as much of a problem as some other people feel like it is. Everybody's got their own opinion. We're going to try and hash over that tonight and then kind of get a feel for what the community feels about this, and how the staff feels about it, or at least how I feel about it. Sirkin may be busy tonight, even though he is here observing and creeping in the background. So I'm going to go ahead and go around and introduce all of our guests tonight. I picked specific people because I wanted a wide range of RnF, specifically RnF talents and experiences. So I went ahead, I tried to grab somebody with absolutely no RnF experience who'd never been there. She is not here right now, so we totally get to miss the newbie perspective. But we did get somebody kind of in the middle. We have Sidel here, who has spent a little bit of time on RnF, made some posts and all that stuff. Sidel, go ahead and say hi.
Hello.
And we also have Cucumbers, who has finally joined the stream. Really excited to have him here. He is a very experienced RNFer. It seems like wherever he goes, he is either diffusing or creating conflict. Lord of Bananas and all things sexy. An Ixar brother. Go ahead and say hi, Cucumbers.
Ahoy.
Excellent, excellent. Oh, he got booed. We also have Sirkin. I'm not going to give him an intro because he doesn't deserve one tonight. Okay, no. Sirkin, a complete failure on RNF, who only posts dunk.jpg pictures all over the forum because he thinks that he's really cool. That's his claim to fame at this time.
Sounds about right. Yeah.
Sounds about right. Usually by posts made by the true RNF master on the staff, which is me, obviously. So, are you the Robin to my Batman? My RNF Batman,
Nope.
Sirkin? No?
Not
Okay.
even close.
Not even close.
Are you the nipples on his breastplate?
Are you? Whoa! Oh my god.
Wow. So that's where we're going. Speaking of harassment,
Oh, right. Yeah, we're jumping right into it, huh? So that actually raises a good question. What is harassment? I mean, what do you guys think harassment is? I think that, personally for me, harassment is anytime somebody's feeling threatened or uncomfortable by somebody's actions or words. I think there's varying levels of harassment. I don't necessarily think that being uncomfortable or feeling a little bit threatened is horrible, terrible things. But I think that you can have really horrible harassment if somebody legitimately feels scared and unable to play, unable to enjoy the server and their character. That would be very serious. But I would define it just really simply as anything that is, causing those kinds of reactions. Cucumbers, how would you define harassment? Anytime somebody puts down your Ixar signature?
Yeah. So I'm kind of like you in that I think harassment is kind of on a scale. So anything that makes you feel uncomfortable out of the internet, I think, would be considered, to me, harassment.
Okay. Yeah.
I think all of us were kind of born in the internet, like, raised in it.
Right.
You have those low-level trolls, and you kind of push them aside these days. But if you're getting harassed to the point where it's affecting you when you're not sitting at the computer, then it's definitely harassment.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So you feel like it's not really harassment until you walk away from the computer being affected by whatever is happening.
I'd say so. Yeah.
Okay. I actually think that's an important distinction to make, because once something begins to affect your real life, clearly it stepped over a boundary that needs to be in place at all times. is something that we, especially I feel like, is really important. That people don't take the game into their real life, and it's something that, on the staff we try really hard to, keep that all separate, so that when I walk away from P99 CSR, I'm not worrying about it. I'm not stressed about it. It's not bothering me in my real life, and that's really important to hold on to and keep in mind. So I would agree with that to some extent. I think that that's a fair definition of harassment that's crossed the line. Sidel, what would you say is harassment in an online game?
Okay, well, first of all, I feel really lucky because I haven't really had too much, experience feeling like a victim or feel like somebody's doing something against me. Basically, it's forum quest. The forum is where sometimes I get jumped on, and that's fine. I can handle it. And that's just all it is discussion to me. I don't go on there. I don't try to troll. I really don't. I try not to. But sometimes I might get yanked into it, and I find it harassed.
Right. Right.
Honestly, I don't feel harassed. I don't. I don't know why people feel harassed by this. It's like, I know.
So for you, you understand that it's just a forum, and that doesn't bother you.
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
Yes.
But do you think that okay, let's say in game then, do you feel like people can be harassed in an online game? Is that possible?
Absolutely. By the way, I will admit, yes, I've had some creepers who've been on me, and it happens. But I'm a very, I think you just have to be strong and the kind of person who doesn't take that kind of shit, because that is bullshit right there. It really is.
Yeah.
When they try to target you as somebody they want to, I don't know. It's just they're having problems where I have been targeted, but it's not a big deal. I handle it.
Okay. Yeah. I think that I think it's really important to note that different people are going to react differently to different kinds of harassment.
Yes.
Some people have a really high threshold. So obviously, you are I don't want to say strong, but maybe you have more of a tolerance to being harassed or taking that kind of treatment, whereas others may feel very quickly hurt by things like that, or very quickly turned off from the game and pushed away. I know that there are a number of players who they legitimately have a low threshold for harassment and being harassed, and it doesn't take much for them to get upset and have this start to affect their real life, make them not want to play the game. Something that's really important for the CSR staff, and something that we push to all the new guides, we try to reiterate, we try to make sure this is reinforced with everybody, is that the players on P99 should not ever feel threatened. They should not ever feel like they are being discriminated against because of, I don't want to say race, but being discriminated against because they're in a certain group, or because, they're gay or something like that. We want to discourage that in the community, and we want to encourage people to do their best to kind of accept everybody. Now, we obviously understand, we're very, very understanding that we don't live in a world where unicorns and rainbows control all the people in the server. But that being said, at the same time, we need to keep a certain cap, and there needs to be a certain boundary that doesn't get crossed. And sometimes it's hard to define that boundary because it's different for everybody. The people on the red server, they may feel like telling somebody to go kill themselves is appropriate, and the people that they're saying it to may not give a shit. And that may be their threshold. You may say that to somebody on blue, and they may legitimately feel like, they are being told to go kill themselves, and that really bothers them. Maybe they had somebody nearby or really close to them that committed suicide, and that affects them differently. You don't really know how your words are going to affect somebody, so it really is important to be careful with what you're saying and how you're saying it and all that. Obviously, some situations get really heated, especially on the forums. We all get in a forum quest and we start screaming and yelling at each other. I personally have tried really, really hard to not get involved in the forum quest drama like I have in the past, because I don't think that it's. I think that it should only be done in certain situations where it's really necessary, where somebody is completely out of line, and the only thing that's going to put them back in line is a GM or a guide or a staff member, stepping in and basically, crushing their spirit and destroying them. Like only a staff member can, right? Because we have access to all the information, so sometimes it's really simple for us to just walk in and say, well, that's not actually what happened in reality, and just literally, destroy them in a couple paragraphs. That can happen. I feel like sometimes it's needed, but I try to stay away from it as much as possible. Sometimes you can't help it. Sometimes some people are just stepping out of line. Anytime somebody's mentioning favoritism and stuff, that's something that triggers me. And then maybe I'll go and I might harass a player, so they might consider it harassment when I, step in and tell them that they're being a complete idiot and that they need to rethink what they're saying. I know that there are definitely some players who feel like they get harassed by the staff, but I can without a doubt say that there's no player on this server that legitimately is targeted by the staff. There is no player on this server who is aimed at, and made to and is targeted. No, we don't go after people specifically. Maybe once or twice if they're stepping out of line, or we'll definitely watch people who we know are a serious problem, but we're not going to go after somebody and harass them again and again and again and again. And I've been told that people feel that way. We have people in the petition forum who go, "Oh, you're targeting me, you're harassing me." Well, no, we're just following policy, and you don't like what you're being told, so you're gonna kick and scream and cry. And that's fine. Maybe their threshold for tolerance is getting banned, and once they get banned, that's where they feel like they're being affected in real life. But we have to follow the policy, so that's not something we can get around. I think. Oh, go ahead. Did you have something to say?
I was gonna say, yeah, following in the policy, a good thing. I think it is.
Yeah, we have to, right? I've had people come to me and say, they RMT'd or they did this or that, and they want to get unbanned, and they say, well, blah blah blah. I've seen some of the older GMs were notorious for unbanning players who had been hit for things they should never be unbanned for, like RMT and third-party programs like MacroQuest. I deal with that a lot now. Well, the server's policy is very strict at this time, and that is, those people never get unbanned. And if you get hit for RMT, if you get hit for MacroQuest, anything like that, it is very clear, and it is noted in your CSR log where you get banned, that ban will not be removed. And we try to stick very closely to that now that we have a very monitored system, and now that everything's locked down really tight in terms of, we all know what's going on at any given time because it's all logged very meticulously. So it's really easy for myself or Sirkin to go and see what a guide did. They suspended a player or banned a player and find out exactly why. But in any case, we will have people come to the petition forum and they'll ask to be unbanned because of, Uthgard unbanned this person. Well, we don't do that anymore. We're sticking to policy. We're not going to change that. And then they feel like, they're being targeted and harassed because we're not letting them, we're showing favoritism to other people. I'm not those GMs. Sirkin's not those GMs. We're gonna keep you banned because that's the policy, and we're not gonna show you favoritism by unbanning you. And people will get upset by that. But I think that's a little bit off topic. So one of the things. Oh wow, that was really weird. I just added Nyx. Hey. I don't know if she actually answered or not.
I answered. Are we live?
Yeah, we actually are live. I didn't even mean to add you. I was looking at the message you sent me on Skype. You said hi, and then somehow now you're in the call. So hey, welcome to GMChat. Welcome to GMChat episode 5, Nyx. We're talking about.
I never met you before. I'm Sadal.
Hi, Sadal. How you doing?
Really good. I like meeting other girls.
So she's doing great now that you're here, Nyx. Because
Okay.
she was the only female on this call up until now.
Okay.
We tried to have somebody else, but she disappeared. So we're talking about harassment, Nix. And I think it's something that you are maybe familiar with. I think it's a topic that you are well versed in. Let's say that, right? What do you?
Yeah, there was a time.
There was a time. There have been several times, actually. There may have been several recent times, that this has happened to you. So what do you feel like harassment is, Nix? If you had to define harassment.
In-game?
Yeah, well, in-game, on the forums, whatever,
Okay. Well, I'm kind of coming into this just a little blind. I don't really know what the backstory of what you guys been talking about or anything.
Well, here was my thing, right? I said harassment, I defined it as any time you're feeling threatened or hurt, I used something else too. And Cucumber said that it was anytime you feel like the harassment is starting to affect you when you walk away from the game. If you're starting to think about it, if it's hurting you when you walk away from the game, or you feel threatened outside of the game. So those are two examples of things that we came up with. What do you think harassment is in terms of on the game, in the forums, that kind of thing?
Okay. Well, I learned my lesson to stay out of RnF because there are a lot of people that are in RnF.
I just saw you at RnF today.
I know it. There's just some times where it's just like I just can't keep quiet, but I pay the price because then I become a target, and people will send me tells in game and tell me, what a bad player I am, what bad guild I'm a part of, just how awful I am, and they use names other than awful.
Yeah, you get a lot of flack, I think, that maybe you don't deserve as much, but people target you because you put yourself out there, and because you're part of the big bad TMO, and maybe you are kind of an easier target.
I could be part of the big bad TMO, but we're not the big bad TMO, and that's what people don't understand.
Well, right, but you're not going to convince anybody of that in this stream, so
that's true.
I'm not going to give you a soapbox tonight. We'll do that some other time.
Okay. No problem.
But yeah, I feel like it's actually great that we got you on here because you do get harassed, or you have been harassed in the past, and I feel like it's actually crossed the line in game, which is a larger concern than on the forums. Obviously, RnF. If you step into RnF, and we'll get to that a little bit later. If you step into RnF, you should expect to get butt fucked essentially.
Yeah.
Because it's an arena. I mean, you don't go into RnF expecting to get flowers and thank yous.
That's why I go there.
Sidel goes there to get butt fucked, right? So, and I go there to butt fuck people. So, that's that you go in expecting that to happen, and I think that's why we don't really address that in that's not something we're not going to protect people in RnF because they go in there knowing what's going to happen. But in the game, I think that there are boundaries that need to go, uncrossed, and the ignore feature is really important because, if somebody is selling you really horrible tells and starting to really rage on you, you should put them on ignore. That is the first thing we will tell you. Obviously, harassment can go beyond your ignore list. People can make new characters. They can do it in public channels so that the whole zone hears these things, right? So, I mean, that's going over the line. That may need to be addressed in game.
Yes.
But yeah, I've definitely seen... Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, you have to be careful what you tell people, and somebody who you're like in a group with or in a guild with like for a month. Right. You don't tell them your whole life story.
No, that's a bad idea, right? Because then
because
they have ammo against you. Yeah.
In OOC, they'll bring that up. And
then you might end up getting, guild people who hold power in guilds in very much trouble.
Mm-hmm.
So in any case, I feel like it's good that you're here because I know for sure that I felt like it's crossed the line, some of the harassment that was put on you. I'm not going to go into specifics, but it's been pretty bad a couple times, and maybe you're
tell everybody that's listening to the stream what my thing was.
No,
and they can all harass me.
No, yeah, that would be bad. We don't want to do that. No. Yeah. So in any case, it's good that you're here to talk about this. I haven't seen any questions that have popped up in the chat yet. And I was hoping we would get more people who wanted to get in the conversation, but that's okay. Maybe if somebody wants to share an experience they had where they felt harassed or they felt like they were harassing somebody, and let us know,
You get a lot of RnF stuff that's really seems slightly harassing.
Oh, you mean I do, personally?
Well, no, Sidel does.
Oh, she was talking about that earlier, and she said she didn't really feel like that affected her, which was interesting to hear and cool to hear because,
I've debated forum banning people for some of the comments I've seen directed at Sidel.
Yeah, no, I have too, because some of them are pretty extreme. But she takes it like a champ, and she keeps on going, so, she's never cried to the GM staff and said these people being mean to me, blah, blah. So, she goes in, and like she said earlier, she goes in expecting to get attacked and expecting to have to hold her own. Because, yeah, I've seen her legitimately get harassed in RnF too, but once again, that's RnF, and that's not something we're going to most of the time, and there's some things that do cross the line in RnF. Obviously, the real-life info stuff we really need to keep off, because that goes back to that boundary between real life and the game that always needs to be separate. And that's always going to be really important. But that's one thing we would police on RnF. Another thing we do is, racial and sexual harassment. There's a line there too, right? I don't mean you're necessarily going to get banned for calling somebody a faggot, but I shouldn't even say that word on the stream because it's like the big no-no word on P99. And I don't necessarily think that's a bad word. I think that my opinion is that we shouldn't stifle free speech, but there are people who really, really are bothered by that word. So we try to keep that to RnF. If you say that in server chat, if you say that in game, you will probably get your chat privileges revoked. You might get suspended. You probably won't get a warning. You might get one or two. You might get one warning, and then it'll go right to a suspension or a revocation of your chat privileges. But in RnF, you're not necessarily going to get banned for that right away, but if it gets excessive, if you are making unwanted sexual advances on a woman in RnF over and over and over again, and she's telling you to fucking stop and you don't, you might get a forum ban. And just so everybody knows, recently we were given permission to hand out in-game suspensions for forum activity. It's got to be something extreme. We're not just going to do it willy-nilly, but we can do it. So all of you guys that think you're protected just because it's the forums and I'm on an anonymous forum account, well, we'll find you and you might get in trouble in the game. So maybe be a little more careful with what you say.
So you'll only be able to do that with the careless people.
Well, yeah, right.
The manipulative VM, whatever that thing is where they hide
you would be very surprised at how
VPN.
if I really want to get somebody, I'll find out who they are. You can try all you want to fucking hide, I will. You can ask a few players who go to great lengths to hide their identities and who their characters are. Nurgon is actually one of them. He challenged me to come find him one day, and after about 20 minutes, I found him. It did take some digging. He was really good at hiding. 20 minutes in, I walked up to his character and just killed him. And he immediately made a forum post that said, "Oh, well, guys, he found me." And if we want to find you, if you do something really bad, we'll find you. So, be a little bit respectful. Obviously, like I said, RnF is an arena. It's there to let you battle it out and release your emotions and talk shit and flame people and have fun. But understand that there is a line that needs to be drawn, and it needs to not be crossed. It's very important. But yeah, RnF is specifically there for people to vent, and it's there for people to, get out those thoughts and those feelings and those comments. What I wanted to talk about and what I wanted to ask is, does anybody feel like RnF is a bad thing? I think this may be the wrong group of people to ask that question to.
It's not a bad thing because at a bare minimum, it contains all of the shit in one area. So that people who don't want to deal with it can choose not to go to that area.
Right.
I don't know. There was a time though when forums it would start in the general and then get moved to RnF.
That still happens, actually.
Hmm.
That's also just extra work for
Yeah, right.
people like myself.
Well, no, we have forum moderators now, so it's not so bad.
I didn't say a lot of extra work.
Right, no, yeah, it's like 3 clicks to move a thread. Well, actually, in order to find out that a thread needs to be moved to RnF, you actually have to fucking read it, so that's, kind of a problem. In any case, yeah, so I know you guys all feel like RnF should never, disappear, so I'm gonna play devil's advocate here, and, I'm gonna take some of the arguments that I've heard, against RnF being a thing, and
You do that because this way I'll be able to rip apart those people without
Okay.
actually abusing the
well,
player
yeah,
base.
right. You can abuse me instead. Yeah, well, cause there are some people who feel, and I really don't agree with any of these things either. It's gonna be hard for me to represent these opinions, but there are some people who feel like, RnF is it just promotes more animosity between the guilds. It makes it more difficult for people to cooperate. It makes it so that people, are encouraged to fight and hate each other and be mean and carry that hate with them all over the place and blah, 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 blah. And et cetera, and all these other weird arguments that never made sense to me. But I'm doing a really poor job of playing devil's advocate tonight. But that's my side of the story, Sirkin. What's yours? Oh, he's not actually going to rip it apart.
My side of the story is that I was just yelling at my buddy for
Yeah.
things.
Okay, I forgot we were going to ignore the shit out of you tonight, so you go away. Go help your buddy.
I don't even need to know what your side of the argument is. Those people, they're being short-sighted and retarded because they come to the forums and they're like, oh, well, it runs off new people who find it. And it's like, first of all, if those new people haven't learned how to internet well enough to decipher what rants and flames is, then they're not going to make it on this server or any game server, period.
Oh, I think
second of all,
that's a stretch in my opinion, but keep going.
That's not a stretch. It's clearly labeled not safe for work. If you don't want to deal with that shit,
you mean people who go in there and like, oh my god, RnF, like, why are all these people acting this way? Okay,
it's
yeah,
like going
totally.
into a whorehouse and then complaining about
Why is everybody here a hooker? Yeah,
right,
totally.
right. Like, you should know what you're signing up for.
Right.
And then also, like I said before, it would be so much worse if that shit was just everywhere. And if you're sitting at work and you're like, I'd really like to read this thread, but I hope there's no gay tranny sex pictures inside of it.
Oh my god.
Because I'll lose my job.
Oh my god. I see. It's the worst when there's no warning for that kind of shit, and you're just scrolling down, and all of a sudden it's like, boom! Right in your face. Nothing you can do to stop it. Full frontal, unabridged, uncontrolled, full 1080p resolution, right there. Fortunately, man, I remember what it was like when you didn't have, mod access, and you couldn't just take those pictures and nuke them with extreme prejudice the moment you see them. I remember what it was like to be a player and see those and be like, oh, please, any GM, any guide, come remove this, please, right away. It's tearing out my soul.
Wait a second. You mean you see the nudity and stuff and you feel that?
That it's tearing out your soul?
Yeah.
It depends on the picture. Yes, there are definitely some naked bodies that make me feel like my eyes are bleeding.
Okay, I would agree with that.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. I think we can all agree on that, actually. Yeah, so I remember what it was like to see that. I personally wish that people would control that a little bit more. But we do have a dedicated forum moderator now, who has been really great at policing that kind of thing and making sure that isn't everywhere on the forums. I think we allow like 1 or 2 threads with extreme nudity, and that's it. I think the RnF boobs thread and the other one, the tits thread, the ass thread or something like that, best of the best ass. I think somebody made a tranny thread at some point and a penis thread. I think that's where we just allow those things to exist so that going into the thread what's there, right?
Bearville,
Yes.
Is your Twitch stream tonight 18 and over? I'm seeing that the chat isn't being bad word blotted out.
I think that when you come to my stream, it's always 18 and over.
Oh, okay.
To be honest.
I think she's referring to the bad word filter.
I don't turn that on because I'm
Okay.
not a pussy like Sirkin. I mean, I'm not. I mean, I'm not a professional.
Wow.
Like, I'm
Are
not a
you calling him
Meaning
the
professional.
that you
C-word
don't
there?
run a family appropriate stream.
Right,
sir.
right. Any stream with me on it is not family appropriate. No, I think it's actually more professional to block those words out. But when I was setting this up, I was like, fuck it, I don't care. I want people to be able to say horrible things. And if it gets out of hand, then I'll have somebody ban them. I can't actually assign any mods. I was having a lot of trouble doing that. I think I finally got them all to go through. Let me make sure. Let me check here before I say that. Yeah, so Nix, you're a mod. Sirkin, you're a mod. I finally got that to go through. But it took forever. I couldn't mod. I couldn't mod anybody. I tried doing it and it just didn't happen. I was like, wow, this is really, really frustrating. But yeah.
There is some harassment on. Well, you have to kind of figure out if it's harassment or not. There'll be players that refer to certain protected classes of people.
Whoa.
Occasionally.
If you did what? Sorry, repeat that.
Somebody somebody had a question here on the side. I can't
Yeah,
read
yeah,
it
in the
out.
chat, okay.
In the chat that said, I don't remember every person being in, and I don't want to say those words on stream.
Type it out to me. I'll say it for you.
Nix, the good streamer.
Yeah, there you
The
go.
good guest, right? She will never say those words, ever.
But, there'll be people talking about, gays, lesbians, trannies,
Right,
whatnot. And
right.
you kind of, as a player and a good citizen, well, I don't know if you'd call it a citizen of the server,
A citizen of
try and-
Norath, sure.
you try and find out, and make sure that everybody's okay. I mean, I do. Oh. Yeah.
Did you show Sirkin the dirty words? Is he going to tell them to us?
No, it's on there. It's on
Oh.
the side.
I'm actually really slowly scrolling down because I'm checking for
Oh.
questions. I like this one. I'm actually going to take some of the questions here and we're going to answer those real quick. This one is a troll question. I'm going to answer it anyway, and you're not going to like the answer. So Pin Boots, or PN Boots, says, Daru, if you banned Chest and every account he has ever been associated with, do you think this
We're
would
gonna-
benefit the server greatly?
Warlock games. That's gonna be quick.
Yes.
He might have.
No.
He might have signed on Nick, so
I
maybe
lost
not.
the last one though. I don't like to leave on a bad note.
Mute your mic, Zerkin. You let Chest onto your account? That sounds
Probably
terrible.
so.
I would never do. Anyway, back to the question, right? No, actually, I do not think it would benefit the server, and here's why. Because I think, number one, Chest is very opinionated and very passionate about.
I have things to say about Chest. Actually,
Are you going to say them right here?
I'm gonna say them right here.
Okay, let me finish my spiel
I-
first. No, you
Go
shut
ahead,
your mouth.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I think he's very opinionated, he's very passionate, and I think that he really does care about the server. He may not always have the best intentions for everybody. He may more be focused on what he wants and what he needs, or his guild. But no, I don't think he should be removed, and I also think that he represents a very clear and present bad guy for the bad guys, right? Because Timo and IB are the bad guys. He gives them somebody to hate and an enemy to want to battle and overcome and make fun of. And if he wasn't there, you gotta have a bad guy, right? I mean, everybody needs to have somebody that they are out to get and out to defend their pride and honor against. And I think that he is that person for TMO and IB. And I think that's a good thing. I really do. So, Sirkin, your turn. I want to hear what you have to say. I think this is a monumental occasion, in fact.
So
yes.
on Monday nights, I do my thing, and I go visit the wonderful P99 Reddit over at reddit.com/r/project1999.
Excellent plug,
And-
sir.
Thank you, sir. And I make a little thread informing people about what we had talked about that evening, and invite them to listen. And Chest shared his wonderful thoughts.
Uh-oh.
And-
Uh-oh.
And I need to report him to Cucumbers, who I designated the HR manager of BDA
Oh, boy.
earlier on the Reddit page.
I second that, actually. Cucumbers, you're
You
promoted
gonna
right
quote
now.
that?
Chest referred to me as a fourth point.
What?
And yes, that's a
What?
direct quote.
What?
And I do not. It made me feel very uncomfortable.
Hmm,
And it made me feel
mhm.
threatened for my personal safety.
Whoa, yeah.
And I felt obligated to report it to BDA's HR. And I told him I would. So
Interesting.
done.
Interesting. But that doesn't actually tell. That doesn't tell us how you think of him, though.
Oh,
So you're
I
afraid?
think-
Or do you think you're afraid of him?
I'm terrified of him. Actually,
man.
He makes me afraid for my life.
Uh-oh.
And I don't appreciate him calling me a fourth point.
TMO and IB better watch out, you guys, because the lead CSR of the fucking server is afraid of a guild leader of a Class R guild. And it may come down to the fact that Chest might just come to Sirkin and scare the shit out of him and cause a ruling to go in their favor. It could happen.
That's absolutely a thing. He shows
Uh-huh.
up outside my window with some BDA toughs.
Oh
And
man,
they tap on my window with something.
I feel
scary.
like he would come alone. And
No, they come with
no,
muscle.
he would come alone, and it would be super fucking scary. You'd look out your window, and he'd just be standing there in the shadows, like maybe 30 yards out from your house, just staring at your window, in like a raincoat with the hood pulled up. And then you look out your window again, like 30 minutes later, and he'd be like right on your sidewalk, slowly moving up. 30 minutes later, he's in the house. I need just a moment. I have a phone call, so 1 second. I know, I know.
We missed a wonderful opportunity for Reserve Chat.
I'm the host and I'm bailing out, Sirkin. If you could cover for me, I would really appreciate it.
That's amazing.
Well, I haven't
Highlands.
heard very much from your other guests.
You go first.
Hello.
I'm gonna come out and
You
get you
feel
in a
about
second.
all of these things.
So I'm gonna be a bit biased with
Be
Chess because
biased.
I
We need some
actually
bias.
know him in real life. Like I've
But I
hung out
hope
with
you
the guy.
take my report very seriously.
Okay, yeah, okay, then I'm gonna come get you right now.
I don't know. I like
No
Chess.
problem.
I think he's a great dude. I think he's necessary for the server. He's that bullseye for the Class C, and he does fight for the little guy, and I admire that.
In all
The
seriousness,
little guy
Chess is
like
a good
Dio's
guy.
genocidal tendencies?
No,
Those were little guys.
guys were borderline mentally challenged. I mean, little guys like Moonlight Crusaders and the little guys that are on the rotation.
Oh, so many things I could say, and I'm not gonna say any of them because it's not my stream.
Cucumbers, do you think that all the hate he has towards TMO is as justified as he has it? Because he's creating bias and hate on between the player base.
I think the hate between Chest and TMO and Chest is retarded both ways. I think if you put Umbrella and Chest in a room, gave them beer, they would walk out best friends. Because I think they have more in common than they have in different.
You don't know Umbrella, do you?
Here's the thing: when you have a lot of people that all really are passionate about what they're doing, but want to do it different ways, and all truly believe the way they do it is either the right way or the better way to do it, there's going to be conflict. And you're going to have people that lock horns, and you're going to have people that disagree on certain things, but that doesn't make them bad people or shitty people. It's just they don't see eye to eye on that single issue. Me and Chest have locked horns, and he'll tell you like openly, like me and Chest have locked horns publicly, privately. Like we don't see eye to eye on a lot of things, but like we can still respect each other enough to talk to each other, work things out, joke with each other on the Reddit. Yeah, like I wouldn't call him a necessary evil because I don't think that he's evil. I just think he has a different point of view than Class C and maybe some other players outside of Class C. That's my 2 cents. I feel I just like ended the thread with that.
No,
that
that
monologue
was
there.
you said that very well. You said that very well.
I am
Thank
back.
you.
I am back. Thank you for.
You're welcome. I did really well. While you were gone.
I was told by a streamer that everybody could hear me while I was on the phone because I didn't turn my microphone off, but I muted Skype. So that's
Oh,
great.
fun.
That's great. That's
so
great.
we
Yeah.
didn't hear you, but the stream heard you.
Yeah, they all got to fit my Anyway, I'm gonna try and take a couple more questions, and then I think we're gonna wrap this up because we're getting close to an hour. Let's see here. Here's a good one for you, Sirkin. Fantasy Freak 112 says, I think RnF is toxic for new players, giving people the wrong or maybe the correct impression of the server. Ooh.
Ooh, I don't think it's the correct impression of the server.
Good question.
I don't think so either. Let's see. Somebody's asking, speaking of camps, are there new camp rules? There are not new camp rules, actually. They are just clarified and presented in a format that's readable. They never were. We had some very outdated ones that were put on the forums a long time ago. We nuked all those threads, and then after we nuked them, we forgot to put the way that it works back up. So I took the time to do that today. None of that's new. That's the way it's worked for like the last year or so. Particularly with attaining an item that you were camping. If you get that item and there's somebody in line, you have to move. You have to get in the camp. Give the next person in line the camp. We call it, or I called it, move the fuck on 2013, something like that. Sirkin made this rule during a supercast, and then we started enforcing it, and all the guides started enforcing it, but we never actually posted about it. So this is something that's been in place for a while. So yeah, not anything new. I figured somebody would ask about that because I said I would talk about it. So now I did. I fulfilled my obligation.
Can you give a demonstration of that exact move along thing?
Wait. Say that again.
She wants to know when the move the fuck along 2013 clause comes into play.
Oh,
Yes.
move the fuck on 2013 comes into play anytime you are camping an item and you get the item you were camping and there's somebody else in line. If there's nobody else in line, you can just keep going and you can camp it again if you want. But I guess for let's say the Asian Cyclops, you're looking for a ring. You once you get your ring, you need to pass it to the next person that's in line.
Okay,
Because,
does
you
the
know.
person that is holding the camp get to choose who they're going to pass it
Yes,
to?
that's always been the case. That is not new. It's never been changed. They've always been able to do that. The person who's holding the camp can create any list they want of the next person. And the list, realistically, can only be one person long, right? Because they pass it to somebody, and then that person gets to choose who they pass it to next. So lists don't really exist because lists are never just one item long, right?
Okay,
This
let
is
me,
new to
can I
honestly.
say something? I want to give a specific
It
example.
may seem new because we never really talked about it on the forums. But it was definitely posted, especially that part of it where the camp holder gets to choose who passes off the camp to. That's been a rule since like 2010. Like I think
I knew
Zerion made a post about it in 2010. So that's been around for a
That
long
was a
time.
rule before I was even on staff.
Right. That shouldn't be new to anybody. Somebody was like, I've never heard of this on the forums, and I was like, well, that's because we nuked all the forum posts before you even joined the server. So yeah. But Nix, you were trying to ask a
Yeah.
question.
Okay, so even if it's a stupid camp, like the Shiny Brass Idol camp, I was waiting there. Excuse me, there was a monk there who was camping it. The guy popped, he got the idol. Nobody came. None
If
of
no,
his
Nix, if
players-
nobody is there, then you can just keep going. It doesn't matter.
No, I was sitting there waiting.
Well, okay. This is another important part that was specifically outlined in these new, quote unquote, even though they're not new. You need to address the camp holder and let him know that you want to be next. You can't just stand there and expect him to know that you want to be next, right? Like, you could
Okay.
just be watching him camp the mob because you want to learn how to do the camp and you have no interest in doing it yourself. So you need to address the camp holder and let him know what your intentions are. Or else
Okay,
how is
good
he supposed
point.
to know that you want it, right?
Good point.
If you don't, then you're shit out of luck. Another thing that was added there is that the camp holder can't defraud you. So they can't be like, yes, you can have the camp next. And then right before they pass off the camp, be like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm giving it to my buddy who just showed up. They can't do that. That's fraud, and it's actually specifically in the PNP is covered under fraud. So they can't do that to you. And that's also not new. That is something that has been around for many years. That was in a Zerion post from 2010. So none of this shit is new. It's just never been compiled in a complete and concise forum post. Somebody I love it when people try to rule lawyer the rules that I fucking wrote. It's so beautiful. Somebody wrote a very long and thought out lawyer-like post criticizing all of these things and trying to rip them apart. And sometime tonight or tomorrow there will be like a 20-part forum post with me and my lawyer cap explaining why this person should never, ever try to rule lawyer the person who actually wrote the rules.
Sounds good.
Because, yeah, I mean, they're solid. They work fairly well. I personally would maybe make a couple changes in how things are done, but this is the way that it's worked for years, so we're going to keep going with it until, maybe we'll try to address it sometime in the future, but for right now, we've been doing it this way for years. All the guides know how to do it this way, and we're going to keep the tradition alive, so.
Okay, so when do you send the petition in to get the camp?
What do you mean?
Okay, say the mob spawns, they get the loot, and then even though you've told the person that you want the camp and there's nobody for him to pass the camp to, there, he stays and continues playing placeholders.
So basically he breaks the rules and is a dick?
Yeah.
Well, you can screenshot him telling you that it's your turn, that you get the camp next, right?
In your situation, if he's by himself, he'd have to kill himself to corpse the item.
Yeah, if he wants
He
another
would
lore
lose the
item.
camp when
Yeah.
he does that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
Well,
it would be really clear that he no longer would have the camp. If he's just straight up, if he's just breaking the rules blatantly, yeah, petition him right there and then, That's a
Okay.
pretty clear-cut thing. I always tell people to take as many screenshots as you can if you feel like you're going to get screwed over. Screenshotting people's statements and stuff like that is actually a good thing to do, to protect yourself. So,
Okay, I'll remember that for next time.
I
What
would
happened
say,
in my case
go
was
ahead.
that he killed a couple more placeholders. He kept challenging me for the placeholders, and after I told him that his turn at the camp was done, he kept challenging me for placeholders, and then another named mob spawns that dropped the same item, which was lore. And at that time, he went ahead and challenged me for him, and he got the experience on it, so he locked the corpse down until his buddy could come get the item.
All right, I just want to say one thing. As far as to the camp holders that are holding these camps, if you see somebody show up and you want to be there for a long period of time and that's your intention, at a bare minimum, invite that person to your group, let them get their item and be on their way.
yeah. Oh,
There's
yeah,
no
absolutely.
reason you have to be a dick. When I was a player, there was a certain camp that I had locked down for probably 9 to 12 hours at a time, and I'd be by myself. And the reason I never got petitioned was if there was any slots in my group and you showed up, I put you on the list and I put you in my group. I wouldn't give you the camp, but I made sure you got the item that you showed up to get. And I mean, I would say that's a perfectly fair, legit way to do things as well, because you're not cock-blocking anybody. You're not, you're working out the situation. They're getting what they came for. You're getting what you're there for. If they just want to take the camp to do the same thing you're doing, then fuck them. But I mean, if they just want an item and be on their way, let them have their item and be on their way. And then as far as the people in chat asking, well, what if me and my one friend just pass the camp back and forth till infinity? That's where move the fuck along comes into place.
Move
If
the
I
fuck
see you
along,
doing general
2013.
douchebaggery, scumbaggery things, I'm going to death touch you. I was in Solby earlier today for 2 hours, just waiting for anybody to contest the trans camp so that I could motherfuck the shit out of
Yeah,
them.
we were actually trying to do something about that earlier. Jurgen was there. He's like, I'm gonna camp the shit out of
be
this
there.
mob.
I'm
I'm
gonna
gonna
be
make sure
camping Tranix.
I'm gonna make sure this works and blah blah blah. And then nobody showed up. He's like, damn it, the fuck.
I'm gonna go harder to paint. I'm gonna bring guides with me. I'm gonna be like, this is how you handle this from now on.
Man, he was having fucking database lookups happen, and it was crazy. It's like he brought the
I
entire
was putting
might
in
of
work.
the FBI down on fucking King Tranix camp. It was pretty insane.
So
Pretty great. But yeah, nobody showed up, so.
yeah, there's nothing I could do. I can't do anything if the camp isn't
And if nobody
contested.
appears, yeah, I mean, it's pretty obvious that people have just kind of given up on the camp, I guess, but.
Well, hopefully they're listening to this right now and they know that they shouldn't give up on
Well, that forum thread that I made got a lot of attention, and a lot of people were like, does this mean we can do this? Like, blah, 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 blah. Well, you know, it's you guys read the rules and figure it out on your own. You know, um, there's a lot of references to RnF that I'm scrolling through right now. Anybody who's saying like RnF is toxic and makes the server worse, blah blah.
It is toxic.
If you don't want to see RnF, don't look at RnF. It's
Yeah,
pretty
that's
simple.
why it's in its own section.
Right. You can toggle it off actually, so that you never see it at all. So
We keep it quarantined.
there is
Like
no
it's
reason. There is no reason to be hating on RnF. Someone mentioned Catrick. Catrick is great. I am not hating on Catrick at all. She's a wonderful, funny human being.
Yeah, that's a perfect example of an RNFer that doesn't break rules, doesn't take things
yeah.
too far.
Oh yeah, totally.
You know,
I'm trying to think of some other ones. You know, everybody's gonna think I'm crazy for saying this, but Run Level 0 in Azure, he definitely spams a little too much, but you know, in general, I think he's like 5,000 posts deep in red RNF and something like that. It's another harmless poster who follows the rules.
I thought that the RNF post you didn't get counted.
In red, they do, which is why you see lots of red posters who like very quickly get their forum account banned and they're back with like a 2,000 post forum account within like 2 months, because they just blow up the red RNF forum. Yes, that's the secret. That is the secret to the Reds' high. That's why Nergon has like 12,000 forum posts, which is
Gotcha.
kind of ridiculous. Let's see. Chest equals Platlord. Cucumbers at justthetip.com. Cucumbers, you can have a justthetip.com email if you want.
that's favorite.
Absolutely.
I would give you, you could have an honorary Just the Tip email, and you'd be the only other person with one of them.
I don't even have one of those.
Yeah, Sorkin doesn't even have one. He's not an XR, so, you know.
Xstars are the worst.
No. Well, we're not even going to start with that.
Wait a minute. Cucumbers has little doggies though.
No. Cucumbers is an XR.
Yes, but he has little doggies.
He has a sexy man body, that's all. With a little dog, you know. Don't worry about it. It's all been taken care of. We figured this out long ago. I think there was a forum thread where like this was addressed, where somebody was like, "What's that forum say?" He's like, "Sexy man body with a puppy. I'm an XR." And, everybody was like, "Okay, makes sense to me, I suppose." Oh, I'm almost through here. We are gonna wrap up pretty quick. As soon as I get to the end of this chat, we will wrap this up. Do any of you guys have any more comments specifically about
I do.
harassment?
I have not so much harassment.
Okay.
but
Oh, yeah, that's
harken to Alaris's question in chat
A+.
about camps with multiple drops. If you're not going to be grouped with the person, you're going to have to use some kind of honor system. There's some mobs where you can tell what they're dropping by what they're holding. But the best solution would realistically be try to work it out with the camp holder and do what I said before. I mean, just join the group, get your item, and leave. If you're in the group, you'll see exactly what drops when it's looted. But I mean, if you don't want to communicate with the other person, if you just want to, instantly petition and be a dick, it's going to make everything harder for everyone. You, the camp holder, the staff. And so it would be ideal to just send the guy a tell and be like, "Hey, I noticed there's only one of you and you're 2-box alt. How would you feel about letting me join the group for a little while?"
I'm specifically going to have Eunomia. I'm going to turn that into a highlight, and she can post it in people's forum threads, asking about camp issues and stuff. So I think that's really good advice. And I think a lot of people are really greedy and selfish, and that doesn't occur to them that they could actually share like that. Like, I'm not going to get out of my camp. But yeah, that's a great way to get around this whole camp shenanigan, for sure.
What about Fantasy Freak's question? He wants to know if you can stonewall people and refuse to answer some questions about getting on the list, so
You can be a dick, but when you are a dick, you risk staff getting involved. And if me and Darabelle have to get involved in something stupid like this because someone's being
You're
petty,
gonna not have a good fucking time. You're gonna have a bad fucking time. In
you
fact.
might literally have sat in Sol V all day just to get
fucking banned. Exactly. Oh, perfect. Yes, abso-fucking-lutely. Let's see. I'm almost to the end. What's the point of SSing something if a GM is unlikely to see these screenshots? Well, we may not see the screenshot at the time. The guides are on a lot more than Sirkin and I are. You got to realize there's guides and there's GMs, and Sirkin and I try to deal with the high level stuff.
We have different shit to do.
Yeah,
and
right.
The guides don't have out-of-game access like we do, and so it's
Yeah,
an
yeah,
absolute
yeah.
waste of our time to do shit guides can do.
Thank
because
you.
guides can't do shit.
Yeah. Exactly.
So if we
gotta-
Exactly.
Our minutes doing GM only shit, then we're just straight up wasting time because
Yeah,
nobody else
yeah,
is
yeah.
gonna do it.
I mean, unless we have everything done and we're really just at the point where we have the ability to do that. You know what I mean? But we're never in that position though. We're never in the position where like we can just go, oh yeah, let's just, take care of some bullshit and yeah. Let's see. Almost through to the end here. Am I sick? I sound sick. No, but I've been up for a really long time because I had a really busy day and I've had a lot of coffee. So that's why I kind of sound like I've been smoking crack all night.
Yeah, I think you sound better than last night.
What did I sound? I didn't even talk last night to anybody, did I?
I'm sorry, Wednesday.
You mean Monday?
No, Monday, yeah.
Really interesting.
You were really gravelly.
Banana,
No worries.
banana hammock, banana hammock.
Did you check out that link from Bobo?
No,
Bobo?
why? What is it?
It's funny. You need to check it out.
Oh man, I love it that he made some funny gifs, man. He made this one with the two boxing thing with, it's like that one. I can't remember what it is. Like maybe it's a PSA or something with like a black kid walking down the street and.
Oh god, I saw that.
And he turns and he's like wearing like a white kid face mask and the cop is like, oh hey, and drives by. So he took that gif and like put my like avatar on the dude's or an Ixar's face and it's like Darubale over the top of my head and and he sees an erudite walking down the street and the erudite's like being like, look, we got the hood over and he's walking forward and he turns and looks at me and he suddenly has an Ixar face mask on and I'm like, yeah, and I drive away. It's good. It's good.
Yeah. That's
I had actually just seen the legit version of that like 24 hours before the version.
Oh,
with you
really?
post.
For the
Yeah, so-
first time you made it?
Yeah, I'd never seen that before. Like
Wow.
maybe 24
Where
hours.
have you been for the last 6 years or so?
Doing it wrong.
Are we looking for guides? Always, we need guides. In fact, this week specifically, it is one of my huge projects to pull and interview and vet new guides. So, if you're interested in being a guide, now is actually a really good time to put in your app and get really serious about it. Because I may contact you at any time and say, interview, let's go. And if you're not ready, then I'm just gonna move on to the next person because I need to find new guides really quickly.
And I already put in an app and you haven't heard from us and you think like, oh, well, they're just not interested in me.
Right.
That's probably not true. We literally have hundreds and hundreds of apps to sift through, and the odds of us just missing one are a lot higher than you might think. And if your information changes or there's anything to update or if you just want to let us know you're still interested, bumping your application to the top is always going to help us see that you are still interested because
Yeah.
we look for the
Oh, yeah.
most recent first.
Yeah, exactly. And like I said, I am going through those this week. It is one of my hugest priorities and projects. And this weekend and towards the end of the week, I am going to specifically I may even do some ride-alongs, to be honest with you, because I need a system to gauge how people are going to react in certain situations and see how trustworthy they are. So, if you want to be a guide, be around this next 4 or 5 days because you may get pulled up at any time. I don't have a ton of patience for this kind of thing because I need to find one right away, or our senior guide right now is going to shoot me in the face. So, if you're not around, then I'm not gonna get back to you most likely. So,
I will say, there's a red person me and you were talking about last night,
yeah,
and he actually contacted me this morning.
really,
And was wondering if
we're still
he
interested.
basically said he was still interested if we
Oh,
were
okay.
still
You should
interested.
tell him to send me a PM because I will pull him out.
Oh
this
yeah,
weekend.
I'll go to bat for him too. But I mean,
No. I mean, I will pull him out this weekend, do another interview because I never got to talk to him, and then do like a ride along kind of thing where he can show me what he's all about. I suppose. I have some ideas, Sirkin, for how to vet guides more carefully and to find out if they're trustworthy before we actually bring them on. So that's
my
something we're
solution
gonna.
is just not to bring them on.
Well,
Then you don't have to worry about.
look,
trusting
I
them.
understand that, and I agree with you. but that's because you and me are GMs, and we literally just ignore like half of the petitions that come into the game because they don't pertain to us.
Eunomia and Aussie and Morgan are
Do
doing
such a great job. Absolutely, they really are.
Because I remember there was a time when we had some other guides who weren't doing a great job, and me and you were juggling.
We're doing everything. Oh yeah, it was great. That was A+.
And it made me
Just
want to
ate it
tear
up.
my face onto my
Ate
head.
all of it up. And yeah, you can play if you're a guide, so you don't have to give up your character. You don't need to worry about getting promoted to a GM. You know, you're not going to get promoted to a GM. You're going to be a guide for a long time. So yeah, if you want to really help the server, our guides are given a lot of freedom to make their own calls. If you talk to somebody like Eunomia, who's been on the staff for a while, you know, we trust our guides because we spend a lot of time training them and watching them. And Eunomia can make calls on the fly. If none of us are around, if she does what she feels is right, we're gonna back her as long as she can justify it and all that.
I don't even care if Eunomia is 100% wrong. I'm gonna back her.
Right? Yeah, for sure, without a doubt.
Give any shit.
As long as she can, justify her call, right? I mean, and
I don't even care if she can justify
Well,
it.
okay,
I will go
yeah.
out and say I told
Right.
her to make that decision, and it is my fault.
I agree with you. I agree with you on
I
that.
will
You're
fall
right.
on my sword for that woman every goddamn day.
Gosh,
I'm
what
so
a
grateful to have
hero!
her.
What a hero! You know me. I hope you're still listening, because Sirkin is your white knight, baby. He is absolutely there to
White
make
knight.
sure that you.
Should have had Eunomia on tonight to talk about
She ain't
potentially
getting
being harassed.
Eunomia will never be on the stream.
She has an
She's
open
always
invitation
busy.
anytime.
Yeah, I mean, really, you guys. Eunomia spends so much time making your server a clean place and a better place. If you ever see her in game, you should absolutely bow down to her like she is your god, because, I would even say that there's definitely many times when she does more work than Sirkin and I do.
You
Without a
guys
doubt.
should be lining up in front of the P99 office building with like offerings. to her
Yes, yeah,
every
with gifts,
morning.
gifts and signs for sure, gifts and signs. And I just cleared the chat. I hit back, so we're done. We're done. It's been over an hour. So that being said, thank you, Cucumbers. So glad you finally got to come on. Now that
Yay.
you are, not under, I don't know what you want to call it. Now that you're not under a gag order from BDA. It was great having you on. Thanks for coming. Continue to be the RnF master that I told everybody that you are. Sidel, thank you as well. I haven't looked at the call in a while. I'm not even sure if she's still here because I haven't heard her speak in a little bit. Oh, she's still here. She's still here. Thank you for coming on and sharing your thoughts and all that good stuff. Please continue to be the tough young woman that you are in RnF and taking shots and giving them back. Nix, thank you for randomly accepting my phone call in the middle of this stream that I did not even mean to do. It was very strange. I also just right-clicked on your picture and it ended up calling you. Very strange. Sirkin, thanks for being my Robin.
I hope you die in a fire.
Oh, no, really. Thank you for coming and co-hosting GMChat and making fun of me being a newbie on Twitch and OBS and all that good stuff.
I love coming
And
on your
all
Twitch
of you,
chat, sir.
all of you, thank you for being patient with me because I took forever to get going tonight. And I think that's it. You know me, I'm still here. We love you. Thank you. You're the best. And I think that's all I got tonight, guys. Unless somebody has a last-minute comment or something.
YouTube.com/CircumP99,
Yes.
Twitch.tv.com/CircumP99, Project1999.com.
Yeah.
9 p.m. Eastern, go to my Twitch page.
You're great. Shameless plug. But the Supercast plug is absolutely acceptable on this stream. You're watching twitch.tv/Darebell. And I'm also on YouTube at youtube.com/Darebell. GM chats every Wednesday, 6 p.m. Pacific time and 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I've got to go. So everybody have a good night, and we will get you next time. No idea what the topic's going to be. If you got a topic suggestion, send me a PM or an email at gmchat99@gmail.com. And that's it, everybody. Have a good night. Oh, wait, one more thing. One big thing, actually. On the 25th of October, which unfortunately is the date of the best, we have a P99 player who will be running a 24-hour live stream that will include a raffle where the proceeds of this raffle will be going to a donation, or will be donated to a charity. He has already gotten permission from the GM staff. His entire operation has been actually vetted by me, and it's all legit. You pay $5 to this charity, it goes directly to the charity, and he'll give you a raffle ticket, and you can win. I think he's giving like a fungi, BDA, submitting items. If you go onto the forums, he will be making a new forum that I believe relatively soon with more details so you can understand what's going on. And he'll be posting the license to RMT that I gave him for a 24-hour period. Yeah, it should be really fun, really great. The charity is Children's Cancer Fund, actually, I think. Maybe leukemia, something like that. It's really important. We're actually really proud of this player for coming forward and wanting to do this with our server and stuff. So
Even if you don't have money to give, go there and just hang out.
Support him.
Because
Absolutely.
more numbers will attract more people, and maybe that will help raise more money for dying children.
Yeah, definitely. And actually, I will be broadcasting about this on the date, just so everybody knows what's going on, because I want to see him. I want to see him exceed his goal. I think it's something like $1,000, which we could easily do on P99. There's no reason why that goal should not be.
I'm gonna be upset if we can blow that out of the water.
Yeah.
Pixels,
We have so
but
much
help the
spending.
children.
We have so much buying power on P99 that. Yeah, as long as a lot of people know what's going on, I see no reason why they can't hit like $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 in 24-hour period. Anyway, that's it. That was important. That's the last thing I got. We will see you all in like 3 days at the Enchanter Best of the Best. Still no idea if we're streaming or not, I don't think. But it should be fun. So everybody have a good night. We'll see you soon, and thanks for coming. Click follow.
Bye, nerds.
Bye, nerds.